Max Verstappen didn't just take pole in Austin, he dismantled the competition. He did it with one lap. One flawless, aggressive, and precise masterpiece that left everyone speechless. Behind the dominance, though, there was struggle, instability, timing issues, and setup tension no one saw on camera. Yet, in the middle of all that, Verstappen delivered what defines him: calm calculation disguised as chaos. The air over Austin shimmered like glass, 40 degrees of heat radiating off the tarmac. The crowd knew they were watching something different, not just another qualifying session, but the calm before a storm named Max Verstappen. From the first second he rolled out of the Red Bull garage, his focus was absolute. No theatrics, no wasted motion. Helmet down, eyes fixed. The RB21, coated in that familiar electric blue, looked twitchy through the first runs, unstable in the rear, but Verstappen didn't flinch. He was already analyzing, feeling, and translating every vibration through his fingertips. What others saw as instability, he treated as information. And that's when you knew something special was building. In Q1, the Dutchman was methodical, almost detached. While most drivers fought for position in the traffic, Verstappen waited. He let the others burn tires and nerves, then delivered a lap so fluid it looked rehearsed. Turn 1, wide entry, perfect rotation. Through the S's, the RB21 danced, the rear sliding just enough to bite again, controlled chaos. His radio crackled, balance is better. Front's alive. It was the voice of a driver not chasing comfort, but precision. And when the lap time came 1 minute, 32.9, Red Bull didn't celebrate. They nodded. Because this is what Verstappen does, he makes the extraordinary look routine. Then came Q2, and the first hint of trouble. Track temperature spiked, the wind direction flipped, and suddenly the RB21's delicate aerodynamic balance began to unravel. The rear started snapping through turn 10 and 11, the kind of behavior that breaks rhythm and destroys confidence. But Verstappen adapted in real time. He shortened his braking zones, softened his steering input, and changed his throttle pickup mid-corner. To the naked eye, it was invisible. To the data analysts, it was genius. His throttle trace smoothed out completely, eliminating oscillations that had plagued the car all weekend. It was the definition of technical artistry: small adjustments, massive impact. By Q3, the stage was set. The sun dipped slightly, the shadow stretched across the track, and the grip level improved just enough for one perfect run. Verstappen left the garage with less than 3 minutes on the clock. Every engineer watching knew this was at one lap, one shot, one chance to turn a flawed car into a weapon. As he exited turn 11, the Ferrari behind him caught a gust of crosswind and twitched violently. Verstappen? Nothing. The RB21 sliced through like it was on rails. The commitment through turn 19, the micro-correction on exit, it was everything Formula One is meant to be: speed needing serenity. On paper, the Red Bull RB21 should have been the car to beat in Austin. Yet the truth, buried beneath its impressive top speeds, was far more complex. The team had arrived with an updated floor, a new diffuser design, and revised suspension geometry aimed at fixing the rear instability that had haunted them since Singapore. But upgrades come with risk. The new aero package hadn't fully synced with the chassis balance, and the car was still reacting nervously to crosswinds. From the first laps of practice, Verstappen reported it clearly: the rear is moving in the high-speed corners, it's unpredictable. Those 6 words set the tone for the weekend. A car capable of brilliance, but only if the man inside it could tame its mood swings. The Circuit of the Americas is one of the most demanding tracks on the calendar, a mix of Silverstone flow and Monaco punishment. It exposes every weakness in a car's foundation. For Red Bull, the challenge was the track's uneven surface. The RB21's ground effect design demands an ultra-stable floor height to generate peak downforce. But Austin's bumps make that impossible. Each time the car bottomed out, it lost airflow, sending violent feedback through the chassis. Verstappen described it as the car breathing under me. To lesser drivers, that instability feels like chaos. To Verstappen, it's data. He doesn't resist it, he studies it, lap after lap, until the chaos starts to make sense. In Q1, that instability nearly cost him. The car snapped sideways through turn 10, forcing a small correction that cost him 2/10. On the onboard replay, his hands didn't even twitch, just a subtle flick, like a pianist adjusting a single key mid-note. That's where Verstappen's talent shines brightest. He doesn't fight the car with force, he redirects its energy with intelligence. After the lap, he came on the radio, "Car's sensitive on the rear entry, but I know where it is." That sentence sums up his genius. He doesn't just feel what's wrong, he instantly understands why. It's what separates him from even the best of his rivals. As qualifying progressed, the balance problems deepened. The wind direction shifted from tailwind to crosswind, destabilizing the rear just as the track began to evolve. In those moments, a driver has two options: chase the car, or make the car chase him. Verstappen chose the latter. He adjusted his entire approach: earlier braking, smoother entry, faster exit. He stopped relying on what the car should do, and started driving based on what it actually did. That shift from frustration to flow is the essence of how Verstappen dominates. It's not aggression, it's awareness. He's not trying to control the car, he's synchronizing with it. Behind the scenes, his engineer Gianpiero Lambiase kept the radio calm and precise. "Try diff 7 mid-corner," he suggested. Verstappen replied instantly, "Copy. Let's commit to it." No hesitation, no irritation. That chemistry, a decade of trust, allows them to make micro-adjustments in real time that no simulator could predict. The differential change stabilized rotation, but the car still danced under braking. Verstappen used that instability to his advantage. By rotating the car slightly earlier, he shortened the distance to apex and carried more exit speed, a move so subtle you'd miss it unless you looked at the telemetry. It's the kind of adjustment that separates a lap from perfection by hundredths. Engineering excellence in Formula One often comes down to instinct, the ability to make sense of imperfect information in real time. And that's exactly what Max Verstappen does better than anyone. In Austin, Red Bull faced one of their most complex technical challenges of the season. The RB21's aerodynamic platform was unstable. The car's new floor and suspension were designed for smoother European circuits, not the violent bumps of Texas. The track's elevation changes disrupted airflow under the car, and every bump risked stalling the floor. Verstappen felt it immediately. "The floor's bottoming through, the Essies were losing downforce mid-corner," he said on the radio. It wasn't frustration, it was analysis. That sentence alone told his engineers everything they needed to know. Working side by side with Gianpiero Lambiase, Verstappen helped redesign the car's approach between sessions. He requested changes that would have scared most drivers: more rake angle, less rear wing, and a stiffer front suspension. On paper, that combination should have made the car even more unpredictable. But Verstappen wasn't chasing comfort, he was chasing control. The idea was to sharpen the front end so the car could rotate quicker through the slow corners, accepting that it would be livelier at high speed. The move worked. In the simulator, that setup would have looked too aggressive, but Verstappen's unique driving style, short steering inputs, fast rotation, and early throttle made it viable. Once again, he bent the car to his will, not the other way around. Telemetry from the qualifying session showed something extraordinary. Verstappen was braking, on average, 3 meters earlier than Norris into turn 12, but exiting 7 kilometers per hour faster. That's not just courage, that's calculation. He was controlling weight transfer so precisely that the car never broke traction, even when its aerodynamics did. Analysts noticed how he used the throttle like a scalpel, feathering power through the apex, keeping load evenly distributed across the chassis. The result was a smoother energy transfer, which kept the tires alive and stabilized the rear end. It's what engineers call mechanical empathy, and Verstappen has elevated it to an art form. Inside the Red Bull garage, the workflow has changed because of him. Verstappen doesn't just deliver feedback, he structures it. His debriefs are more like engineering reports than conversations. He breaks down each corner in terms of phase, entry, apex, exit. He identifies not just what happened, but why. Oversteer on entry, linked to mid-corner aerostall, he'll say, followed by rear left suspension reacting late. That level of precision allows the team to isolate problems in minutes instead of hours. In Austin, this process was critical. With the compressed sprint weekend format, Red Bull had limited data, and Verstappen's feel for balance replaced the need for endless simulation. His feedback became the most accurate sensor in the car. The RB21's transformation from unpredictable to lethal came through those micro-adjustments. A 1mm change in ride height, a half-click shift in differential preload, a single % reduction in brake migration. Each tweak came from Verstappen's dialogue with the car. And because he communicates in measurable sensations rather than emotion, the engineers can trust him blindly. When Max says it's better, it is, Lambiase explained. That mutual confidence is the foundation of Red Bull's consistency. The car doesn't become faster by chance, it becomes faster because Verstappen and his team speak the same technical language fluently, almost telepathically.